So, to discuss a little bit about my literature review and the process for that, I have included bullet points on the revisions I made for this assignment as well. So, I want to discuss a few of those major revisions and explain them in a little bit of detail. So, one of the major revisions that I made was a reorganization of my paragraphs. Originally, after my introduction paragraph, I went straight into talking about the physical health risk and then continued on. And later on, towards the end, I had a paragraph that discussed access to technology. While working through my own revisions and recommendations from my peers and professor, I realized that my paragraph about access to technology needs to be that first paragraph after my introduction, because how much technology is accessed by people in today's world, especially children, really needs to be emphasized in order to understand all the other factors that go into these negative effects of technology usage. So after we get that understanding and background of how much technology can be accessed today, we can then go into the physical health risk, mental health risk, parental involvement, and relationships, and all the other aspects that can be considered with that. So that reorganization of my paragraphs, I feel, will really strengthen my literature review. Another thing that I had to change and also learned stuff from was the formatting of my parenthetical citations. I learned that the correct formatting is the author's name, the year of publication, and then the page number. And from this, I learned when there is no page number that you put N.P. And then I learned that when there's three or more authors, you put the first author's name et al. Period. So those were two important aspects that I learned from this assignment that go into the APA documentation style. One of the last revisions that I want to discuss is the emphasis of children in my introduction paragraph. When I first began this assignment and wrote my introduction, I talked a lot about technology and how much it is dependent on in today's world, and how it's used for all different things, including education, business, just whatever you may want to use it for. But something that I didn't do in the beginning that needed to be done to make my literature review stronger and more effective is implementing that importance of the effect it has on children and how much children are using it in today's world, and whether it be at a super young age or later on in their teenage years, that emphasis of children and technology and the correlation with one another needed to be implemented in that introduction paragraph. So placing that emphasis really made my literature review more effective as a whole, but really strengthened it for its introduction. So while I had many other revisions that I added to my literature review, I feel that those were very important ones that needed to be discussed in more detail.